at all. United we stand, divided we fall. So to always is here in Trinbego, Akokaliano Danyaho. Let us live as one under the sky. Jahaji high, brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji high, brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji high, Kumaye, Zindawe, Kumaye, Zindawe, Ayayo, Kumaye, Zindawe, Kumaye, Zindawe, Ayayo, Kumaye. Whether you're Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, let's walk this land hand in hand. We could only prosper if we try. Jahaji high, brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji high, brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji high, Kumaye, Zindawe, Kumaye, Zindawe, Ayayo, Kumaye, Zindawe, Kumaye, Zindawe, Ayayo, Kumaye, Zindawe.
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. I saw this morning, of course, not this morning, but sometime now, but I thought I should mention it tonight on the ground report where somebody said, well, listen, Lennox Smith is compensating for less talk in the night on the ground report. Well, of course, I dismiss that as foolishness because, of course, I am a co-host with equal, of course, opportunity, rights, and all of the other ingredients that go into, of course, a common venture, enterprise, of course, that comprises three elements. I say elements here, not, of course, degrading the human input. I talk about Andy, Mikey, and myself. So, of course, to draw that kind of what I consider to be skewed conclusion, I think, of course, is stretching the imagination to the point where it is almost asinine. But that being as it may, the fact of the matter is that, yes, we start at 8 and will, of course, end at 9:30. Whatever hiccups or whatever disappointments with anyone, the fact of the matter is that I'm only human, and I have to, of course, address issues of health, issues of energy, and issue of course, prioritizing time. So let's see a little bit about the unity that is Trinidad and Tobago in its dying stages, of course. Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night once again to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. This is, yes, the Corridor Transformation, your host, Lennox Smith. Of course, you've seen in the background there where, of course, Sanfa Kojo, I think, is a tremendous lesson to be learned from the experience of Shanfa Kojo. Remember when she came into the parliament and she said, of course, we will be in your face for the next 5 years, like Alikoto Jumbi or like a Jumbi from Lokoto. Upstart in essence, of course, similar to Sankar Singh. I think she lost her seat where I think is in where St. Joseph, I believe, she went up. Sankar Singh, another upstart, who, of course, on the podium said that the PNM join the PNM, of course, look at the PNM crime plan, because they have a plan to engage in crime. words to that effect. And of course, it was so ridiculous and ludicrous. So I thought we should spend some time, of course, and at the same time, of course, try to place some focus on Tobago. Because Tobago is crucial for any elections, not just now, but of course in the past, but more so in the future. And of course, there's no gainsaying now to say that, of course, we did predict that not only would the PNM lose handsomely in the THA elections. Andy and I were there in Tobago. I went, of course, personally searching for Dr. Rowley's, of course, Ines Gate apartment. I saw it. A townhouse, I saw it. And I saw his daughters as well. And unfortunately, he wasn't there, but I was hearing at the time that he wanted to sue me. So I thought instead, of course, waiting for the pre-action protocol letter to come, I think I will go knock on his door and receive it myself whilst I was in Tobago. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, I wasn't able, of course, to see him nor get that pre-action protocol letter, even to today. But whether or not you would consider him to be a coward, well, yes, of course he is. And whether you would expect that Young could be classified as a coward as well, yes, I say so, because of course he too, he went a step further than Rowley. While Rowley never responded, he went and he sent a pre-action protocol letter for me, of course, and Andy, because we call him a drug lord, a drug mule, a racketeer, and of course somebody who is in cahoots with, of course, Delcy Rodriguez and, of course, Maduro, in the president of Venezuela. Well, of course, we did respond to his pre-action protocol letter. I was showing somebody it today because they got a pre-action protocol letter. No, sorry, they didn't get it. They sent a pre-action protocol letter. The person did not respond, the person to whom it was directed, but yet still, of course, the lawyer did not take action, even though he paid $25,000. Let me repeat. The person paid $25,000 for a lawyer to send, I won't call it no name yet, a pre-action protocol letter, because he was aggrieved about a situation relating to the estate of his brother. The lawyers took the $25,000. As far as the documents show, a pre-action protocol letter was prepared and sent. However, no information. He's going tomorrow, of course, on my behest and my advice, to find out from the lawyer. So that lawyer is, of course, watching the corridor transformation tonight. Well, we'll also, of course, regurgitate this fact tomorrow morning on the ground report as well. I will make sure and do that. But the fact of the matter is that he did not get any kind of indication from the lawyer who he paid this $25,000 to as to what is the situation. So I told him very, very, very simple. It's a very simple situation. Go back to the lawyer, ask whether or not a response was given, or if no response was received. Because in both instances, the lawyer had an obligation to tell the client, the money is not the lawyer's. And the man cannot be picking up money or mining a lawyer in that kind of circumstance. Why am I concerned? And of course, the first thing that would come to someone's mind is, of course, the length of time that such an incident or such a situation would have occurred. Well, the pre-action protocol letter was given in 2024. More than enough time to communicate with your client who paid you $25,000 and not an iota, not a syllable as to what transpired with that particular matter. And the person, of course, is seeking justice. And the matter that he came to that lawyer for, clearly, from my perspective, from a layman's perspective, from a non-lawyer perspective even, is one that is justifiable. We're going to deal with, of course, the other parts of it later down the road. But let's get back to Tobago. Tobago, of course, found itself in a situation where homeboy totally destroyed, totally devastated. And clearly, both in Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Christopher Rowley is the most hated man. And of course, he has the unfortunate distinction of being the most hated prime minister, I'm sure, whether it's the past, current, or future. Nobody could surpass the level of hatred, anathema, that the population has for this man. He has devastated Tobago. And of course, he has the audacity, of course, in the commencement of it, when we gave him, of course, some kind of, let's say, privilege, when we reposed trust in him, and he abused it, and recklessly and callously, and as if in a state of typical barbarianism, brutalize the people of Tobago. Yes, but of course, this upstart Shamfa Kojo today, she is not wallowing in her own misery and probably moving to tears, I don't know, in her private moments. But of course, you cannot falter the sageness, the significance, the importance of the old people saying that when you do evil, evil will follow you. The hole you dig for others, you may well fall in it, particularly if it is unjust. And as the saying goes, oh, what a tangle web we weave when we first set out to deceive. And what Rowley did was to assemble a collective of deceivers who, of course, rain havoc, rain acid in Trinidad and Tobago. Let us look at the question of Tobago. He first told us that he sent back, of course, the Galicia because he couldn't, out of conscience, have that vessel operated between Trinidad and Tobago, carrying cargo essentially, when he knows that it was acquired in, of course, questionable circumstance. Of course, all of which is, we know now, is a figment of his pernicious, evil, wicked, diabolical, and the very, of course, what I consider to be obnoxious and acidic mentality or conscience. Yeah. Has this proclivity, this tendency, this predilection to what? To destructive thoughts and action as he brutalized the treasury of the country, misuse and destroy the principles of good management, both in government and finances. Let us not waste time. That is what has transpired, people. Of course, the lines are open now, and you can, of course, make your calls at this point in time. I thought it was important, but I'll focus on Tobago. It doesn't mean to say that Trinidad matters will be left, of course, unattended to. But, of course, we had that particular vessel, which, of course, as he said, and at the time, he still had some level of credibility. So people were saying, well, if he says so, it might be well be so. And of course, that was fresh from the presentation of those, we know now, 3 years after, fake emails, fake pieces of paper that he said, of course, contained information where the present Prime Minister then, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and others of her cabinet then were conspiring to kill a journalist. This man is treacherous. This man is deserving, of course, of a charge of treason. I'm talking about Rowley here. You see, I'm saying all of that to make certain that people in Tobago, while of course the devil will have its minions or its imps, in other words, I don't want to use the word angels in the context of a devil. So while the Almighty will have angels, devil like Rowley and others will have, of course, imps, children of the devil, in other words. And he will have their four friends. But whether they would harbor him in a sincere way as a friend is another story. But that is beside the point at this point in time. So the Galicia was sent back, and Tobago was subjected to a downward spiral of retrogression and, of course, anxiety and economic torture never seen before, deliberately instituted by this man, and therefore the PNM in government. I am saying this because I want to indicate the widespread and the all-pervasive nature of those who would have gotten the opportunity to serve the people in true spirit and in righteous obligation to their oath of office, to do right to all manner of men and women, and have failed miserably because of their toxic and their deceptive and their self-serving propensity. So it is in that context I thought I should focus on Tobago a little bit to show that what is happening in Trinidad, once it is the PNM, it will duplicate itself in Tobago, and it has. Then, of course, whilst that economic meltdown was taking place, Rowley, they were saying, listen, Tobago will be spared no support from Trinidad or from the Treasury or from the government. The head of government, the Prime Minister, being what? A Tobagonian. And of course, a man that came out, of course, from the experience of what? Of Landate. It didn't finish yet, I understand. So he still has some, of course, additional retribution to absorb. I hope he like a sponge and a good absorbent, but even sponges, their absorptive capacity wanes. And we saw it already in the parliament, you know, just before the UNC demitted office in 2015. When, of course, Ms. Vanilla Toppin, in my view, a person who is deserving of an award for exposing us to what we eventually experienced over 9 years, exactly what she was saying when she came to the parliament and warned the nation about this man who is the product of some evil antecedent, biological, and that, of course, the family itself that produced this evil, this poltergeist, this diabolical individual, this Luciferian specter called Keith Christopher Rowley. She warned us And I say a hearty good night to you, Miss Allen. You have been vindicated. And I trust that the authorities and those that are now in power, and if I have to, of course, be an advocate for you, because you have suffered and suffer the indignity of being excommunicated because you had the temerity to, of course, expose and to, of course, warn Trinidad and Tobago like a typical, important, significant prophet that we were heading for disaster if we only would have made Rowley the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And it has materialized. 9 years. 9 years of pain, agony, stress, strain. A man that told us that he could do more with less. A man who told us that we had a not insignificant amount of money in the treasury. A man who said and confessed later down the road not only that they have not been able to treat with crime and he fed up and you all don't know what to do. He said that during the course of his, what I consider to be toxic reign in Trinidad and Tobago. A man who told us eventually by confession that there was in fact over 11 billion US dollars in reserve. Told us that eventually. And he told us as well and admitted that in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund there was over 5 billion. He met that. In the last election, these people are so bent on deception and wickedness and to get into office in order to do harm to the population. No, not one of them mentioned the fact that they met in 2015 after the UNC demitted office under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, that they met over 11 billion US dollars in reserve. And none of them would tell us, not even, or put another way, even the former governor of the central bank would have been reluctant, would have been recalcitrant, would have, of course, been hiding the fact that by the end of 9 years, that reserve was depleted to about 5 to 6 billion US. Without, of course, the appropriate information and proof, I want to say that that is more closer to 4 billion US rather than the 5 or 6 billion. At any rate, the audacity of people like Imsbert and Alrari and Stuart Young to tell us that the economy was healthy. I'm talking about 2-point-something months ago, before April 28th. Yeah, they were telling us that the economy healthy because of the 4 billion that was there. Not telling us that it ought to be 11 billion and more if they had managed the economy in the way that they said they would do, and that is normal for those who would have been given the managerial responsibility for a country to act appropriately. So let us not waste time. We know and we should have no sympathy for those who want to use CPEP and, of course, the workers. That will resolve itself in due course. They will realize that they are playing with fire. They would realize that is an exercise in futility. They would eventually see that, of course, that this government is making joke, and that all of them who are deserving of blue lights and silver bracelets, as was put into the political lexicon of Trinidad and Tobago by Dr. Rowley. He coined that term, which simply means, of course, and I think on several occasions he would have spoken about putting people in jail directly, obnoxious as he was, self-serving as those statements were, and of course, reflective as the intent was, to, of course, see in others that which is in them, but they control the narrative because they believe they have the largesse of the state to manage, the juggernaut of the state to manage. And so, they ramage and deceive and not pilfer, but abused. And of course, in a state of total profligacy, believing that somehow these days that we are experiencing now will never reach, because they have a formula to, of course, steal elections. And plenty people would have believed that, but the majority, obviously, people like myself, and being, of course, part of the convincing class to let the population know the truth about the PNM, Rowley, and his despicable, not just conduct, but policies and programs and intent designed to, of course, raid the treasury, pilfer, not pilfer. Pilfer is too what I consider to be easy or soft of a word, but savagely deplete the treasury. That was the intention. And if you only give them another term, they would have completed that exercise and leave Trinidad and Tobago much worse than we met it with the change of administration. That, I think, is very, very important. But in Tobago, he couldn't use the race card as he would have liked to use it here or would have used it in Trinidad. You see, because that too came to a boil. That too came to be null and void and of no effect. Null and void and no effect. Let's go to the lines. Yes, indeed. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hey, Lennox, good night.
Good night, my friend.
You hear me good?
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir, what you say?
Yes.
Yeah, they see what I know that's what they bought in themselves, right?
Yes.
You know, that was them is Steve, they feel everybody is Steve.
Yeah.
You can imagine how them going mad right now.
How what?
How they're going mad.
Oh yeah, because they're totally exposed. They have been found bare. Not just with the pants down, they have been found bare. They're totally naked, and everybody is seeing the underbelly of their nastiness. Yeah. Go ahead.
I wonder how much they keep in, boy.
Yeah.
I wonder how much all the camera and them keep in, boy. Telling them that treasury would you have their hand on again.
Oh yeah. And at the same time, they felt that they have a right to continue their pillage, the pillage of the treasury. Yes.
So they will kill them dead. The whole night, camera and them keep their money.
Oh yes, and they have the insane thought that they try to project into the people's mind, that they're backing up trucks in the treasury to take money, as if that's the way money is, of course, withdrawn from the treasury. But Rowley and they will concoct that, and of course the last Minister of Finance under Young, he then of course tell you how it is done technically and of course procedurally. So they do it whether that way or the other way. The fact is that they see in others that which is in them, cut away our resources and then claim others have done it. Go ahead, and they're doing a good job.
And imagine them sycophants believe that they back up big.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's another one with Unitrust as well, where the UNC said, well, listen, they are going to use the excess liquidity that the unit trust will have from time to time after they cater for expenses and so on, and they will use that just after the COVID to help persons, small business persons, to keep their employees. And Rowley and them created a piggy bank and break it, and then pull out I think a 25 cents and say the UNC taking that and all. Yeah, they concocted just as how he took the basket of grocery items, and in it was a hand of fig, bananas. Yes, they take out the bananas and say, "Yeah, no monkey." And the people of Labre fell for it, and the people of Point Fortin fell for it. And, well, of course, the usual easy victim is that of Lavertil and so on. But certainly this time around, they show him that they're not choppity, because of course I was wondering, well, when they would learn. But of course I want to thank the people of Point Fortin, the electorate, and that of Labre for coming to your senses. You did a wonderful job. Yeah. Just imagine that. Huh?
And you know, you never get the tape whenever that's possible.
Never what?
Yeah, the tape, I know you never get it.
Yes.
When the former Prime Minister of Grenada, not this one.
Oh yeah, no. I didn't get that one. No, I didn't get that one. I searched wide and far and deep, but I haven't got it. But if it is wrong, I will get it.
I want you. Michelle gave a piece of mind.
Yes.
And when he done, he tell me, we still eat bananas here in Grenada.
Yeah, banana, yes, he said because their economy depends on bananas. And wise, of course, the Lomé Convention was scrapped, and as the EU formulated itself into a union for trade and other unified approaches to commerce and foreign policy and so on, the Grenada and other Eastern Caribbean countries, they still depend on banana to survive. They have a large banana industry. All they had to do was, of course, seek different markets. But go ahead.
Well, Lennox, the man insulted the whole Caribbean when he talked that. Because everybody in the Caribbean has eat bananas.
Yeah, of course, that's what he did. And he had that propensity. He told the Indian government, for example, it is an insult to, of course, to take free medicine from anyone, when in fact not even small countries, whether they had the money or not, could have gotten any at the time. He told the Guyanese in a situation where, of course, he lost in terms of the first, I think the second time that there was a 7-7 situation in the local government. And I think when Gary Griffith, his arch nemesis, they were told that, of course, he got a certain amount that was exaggerated by some journalists. He then turned and said, Wayfield is he get them votes in Guyanese dollars or what? And of course, yeah, got the Guyanese vice president mad. Yeah.
You think that fellas want to see in Guyana again, Lennox?
Yeah?
You think Rowley could ever go in Guyana again, just so?
I don't think so, particularly with the present administration in full flight, and of course having a congenial and cooperative one in Trinidad. Of course, why is they were in government, you see, the PNM, particularly under Rowley and this fellow called Stuart Young, and all of them, they including, of course, Penelope Beckles, they confuse normal diplomacy, which of course is a standard behavior among countries. They see it as total friendship. You see, so that all of the nonsense that Young would have spoken, that he went, of course, to Jamaica and met with the Secretary of State and all of that. And the Mama Gaim, why is they taking it? Because he asked him, I think, I can't remember the exact phrase or term, but in other words, only short to survive. That's what I got. You know, he wasn't sure to survive as a prime minister, as a government, as a representative, because they simply understand, the Americans, that is what the PNM was doing in government, and it was just a matter of time, which of course was reflected in the results of the 28th of April. Go ahead.
I watch me. Short song when he died, I feel he will get away with that.
Yeah.
Mondelo was the American ambassador down here.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
and tell us that, listen, the relationship is very good. And they even gave, of course, the very last, under Biden, of course, ambassador, what's her name? She has a name. Yeah, but anyhow, they gave her, I think the highest award that Trinidad could give, the Order of the Trinity. No, not the Order of Trinidad, the Order of Trinidad and Tobago, because we pull out Trinity because of the religious conflict that it created. Yeah, but certainly, all of that was should I say physical or the more appropriate word is the optics, you know, just to give the impression, to give the facade, to give the illusion that they have a good relationship. Now we are seeing, of course, that was never so with respect to Guyana, with respect, of course, to the United States. We are seeing it unfolding, right? Kamala Prasad Bissessa is playing her cards right. She said, listen, I am not going to tolerate elements that is associated with Venezuela. A point blank scenario, a point blank position as far as the foreign policy of this government is concerned, and as well as the hemisphere and the region. And we are seeing it, of course, benefiting Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, Moody, he didn't have Trinidad and Tobago on his itinerary, you know.
Okay.
He didn't have it. But, of course, a well-informed government will know about the movements of statesmen and leaders of major economies and populations in the world. And having done that, of course, they did their homework, and they invited the man to include Trinidad as a stop on that journey. Why I'm saying so, I'm getting that not from Trinidad, you know. I'm getting that from, of course, Indian news and broadcasters who were following the itinerary of the Prime Minister, and that was mentioned that he didn't have Trinidad and Tobago as a stop, and very, very significant as well is that here it is that the Trump Secretary of State went Guyana and never stopped in Trinidad. And Mike Pompey, I'm saying so for a specific reason, you know, Mike Pompey, when of course he was the Secretary of State in the previous Trump administration, he went to Guyana as well, and never stopped in Trinidad.
He didn't even want to fly over here, but
they probably don't even want to fly over Trinidad once Rowley and they are up. And you wonder why. Well, let me tell you why, my friend, because we are having a conversation here, no problem. When somebody wants to intervene, well, I'm going to give up. A long time we have not chatted in this way. Get a chance to chat in this way. But you know why? Put another way, why they had an obligation to stop in Trinidad? Well, for two reasons. One, we are the most prosperous or largest economy in the Caribbean in terms of CARICOM, all right. Yes. And the other one is that we co-sponsored a resolution at the United Nations under Kamala Prasad Biswas. I think that would have been somewhere in 2014. So it was nearing down the administration's tenure, 5-year period. But she did that, co-sponsored that particular resolution with the Jamaican Prime Minister.
Right.
And Obama led, of course, that particular initiative. So 3 of them co-sponsored a resolution that talks about, of course, international terrorism and how it should be treated by nations. And that obtains up to today. So the point I am making is that Trinidad and Tobago, no other country in the world, but Trinidad and Tobago co-sponsored a resolution that is very significant to the United States, because they didn't take it easy when, of course, 9/11 occurred, when those planes were rammed into the World Trade Centers, both towers.
Right.
So, and triggered, of course, the Middle East war, if you want to call that, or the Iraqian war. But the fact of the matter is that no Secretary of State would have ignored Trinidad and Tobago in those circumstances. But that's right, yes, and Rowley and they were annoyed when that happened. In fact, Rowley said in Santa Cruz that Kamala shouldn't do that because we are just grass among the elephants. So when they when the big boys and them or the big nations fight, we mustn't be we mustn't be a cog to get trampled upon. Yeah, that's what he said. But yes, yeah, all of that. But the man, for his entire 9 years, play handsy-pantsy with Maduro, a man who has a bounty on his head, wanted by the United States criminal authorities. I mean, come on. So when that start to happen and these things start to unfold, and Rowley's recalcitrant and is insistent that he deal with the enemy and making, of course, the Americans look as though they are the enemy. He gone up to the United Nations and making statement defending Maduro, and went, of course, to the OAS, not he, but his representatives, and abstained from voting when, of course, the Americans say take aside, and that we must deal with firmly with Venezuela, because they are contributing to destabilization of the hemisphere, and of course in Latin American countries, including, of course, Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean countries. And yet still Rowley maintained that relationship. It was, I believe it's only Trinidad and Tobago went at the inauguration when everybody said that entire election was fake, the one before the last one. Sent a representative. Yes, sent a representative, you know. Sent a representative in such circumstance. The man, I mean, it's over 4 million of their 27 million migrated out of Venezuela. And Rowley and the PNM sat there, and of course superintend that barbaric act against Trinidad and Tobago by playing handsy-pantsy and claiming that they are our nearest neighbor. Your neighbor doing you harm. Your neighbor is a arsonist. Your neighbor is a belligerent, and you playing handsy-pantsy with them. Well done, Kamala Prasad Biswas. Make it very clear. Any unwanted enemy ships in our waters, instructions have been given to deal with them firmly. Yes, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
Not to take away nothing from Moody, but Kamala had more accolades than Moody.
Yes.
Kamala, when she was Prime Minister,
yes,
She had more accolades than Moody worldwide.
Yes.
Ban Ki-moon and everybody, and she has the greatest.
Yeah. Because of course of the early childhood
Yes.
program initiatives, policies, systems. Yes, she got accolades.
Accolades like first time.
Yeah. And of course, a number of women's organizations across the globe, including the United Nations, as well.
Yes,
I think Forbes and Times as well had put her down as you know, just as what Motley would have gotten in recent times.
Yeah, even she was out of power.
Yeah.
The Bahamas invited her over the big party
Yes.
and honor camera.
Yeah.
But you see, nobody will ever honor anybody in the PNM government.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
them is a bunch of look.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they inward the salt that the body can consume or holds. I think all of them should now suffer from blasted high blood pressure, as far as I'm concerned, because they should be not in politics at all.
But I know they eat up that next stupid.
Yeah.
Next one gone mad or something.
Yeah. Well, that is how the situation is. We have a.
All right, I maybe get a call out yet.
Not yet. We have a caller here? Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, I was being reminded to talk about, of course, our the fact that on Sunday we have, of course, a pre-budget consultation. Let me just take off this. I think we had enough of Shanfa Kojo and her nonsense about and her upstartism. All right. So we have a call coming in. So thanks for that engagement. What I'm not seeing, yeah, thanks, yeah. So it means, therefore, something is wrong with the system. Let me just make sure and get that cracking. I've not seen. Let me get that cracking. Sorry about that. I suspect that something might have been wrong. Wise, of course. Let me see if I can get that corrected. Boy, Murphy's Law, people. It happens at the worst possible time. All right. The caller, call back, and if there's anything, we will take your call on the handset if it becomes necessary. But it appears that the WhatsApp number on the system has frozen. All right. So all right, let me see. Let's see what's happening. Where is it? So I'm hearing it here, but I'm not getting it. No. Let me go on the handset because I'm not seeing it there. All right, let's go there. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A pleasant good night to you, Uncle Lennox, and
yes,
to
man.
all your listeners on the World Wide Web. Share the life in all sundry.
Yes, man.
We need 40,000. We need 40,000. Just to press a button and share it. And if you don't have that time to share, you could just share a little bit of your URP and your CPEP. CPEP get paid because our
everybody happy now. And the PNM, what I consider to be blighted, they are like the cheese. They have been left standing. The cheese stand alone.
Once again, so what my current political leader, esteemed Prime Minister, she had stand for the people first. So, PNM supporters, look, Uncle Lennox, but talking earlier with a caller named Faizabad. So, Uncle Lennox, I have a bone to pick with you tonight.
No problem, man. Go ahead.
Why this? You're doing Karim Marcel and Keith Scotland and Larry Lala, Faris Arawi, that mischief for me, Uncle Lennox. Why? Why are you doing that for? At least you could have tell Larry Lala, right, that when you're going to file a case, and they don't talk about Faris, right? Faris wanted to pervert the court of justice, and he said, tell the judge, you want to put it in a seal envelope only on the daily case to open. So they're going to put you in the envelope and put the evidence. and write it. You didn't have a way. From since then, that is Vincent Nelson's testimony and time and life to try to entrap ex-attorney general. Now, he come again, and you see, he's trapping the CPEP contractors on them, and the whole board of CPEP to make jail. You see how wicked them fellas is? They don't care about people, you know.
Yes.
They care about people. Uncle Lennox, that's why I'm vexed with you, because you have a center open for all sundry and people, no matter what class or where you belong to, come for the advice. You will put them in the right place, and if they can't do it, you will get the necessary help for them. Oh, God, Uncle Lennox. You see, I had a buffet tonight with Uncle Lennox because you feel there. Because they carry my young burden, fella from the beatum. You bring down the beatum again, Uncle Lennox. No, man. Because you see, when they jackass the scene, that's what you'll get. You see, that's what you get. Because the next one now, second topic, I want to run through the challenge quick.
Go ahead.
Right? You see, it have a professor in the University of the West Indies. Right? Now he talking about divestment and agriculture security, food security. Rowley bring African snail and yam seed. They learn how to cook it yet? When Rowley had the gas conference in the Hyatt, he turned it back and he watched Mr. Ali of Ali like a piece of no good. He went Guyana and he watched it like a no good. And he come back and he said, yeah, we'll get some tomatoes and something. Wait, Rowley ain't bring it yet. Rowley come back and he say he's going to put the 2 ships to go Guyana, to up the Caribbean, down the Caribbean, so we have food security, the trading of the ship. Wait, I want to ask Penny, when all implemented that? And I will ask my Prime Minister, ex-Prime Minister, to implement it for you. When? And you know what is the next thing? That fella, that professor, he's talking out of timing, set of nonsense. And the next one I want to address. CNC 3 News have a reporter in Germany, somewhere up in France, somewhere there. They have a conference going on. That is a conference where the European Union meeting to talk about, countries can get aid and assistance, financial assortment, right?
Yes.
So they talk to one of the secretariat from the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And all in that news, I sit down and I watch that piece of clip.
All right.
You know who is the interview?
Yeah.
Karen in there, and what she said is that the TTRA is what the people in the European Union, that what they wanted, and it will help we. So I want to ask Karen, since she's so a good person, where the mother so money from the European Union, what Camille Robertson already say is for Trinidad and not for sugar workers. Karen, talk about that. Let me hear what you have to say. I asked you a question now. To answer that question, and I want CNC3 to interview you to see if it's for the sugar workers, for divestment and retrading of workers, right? Because that's what the European Union is about, It's for trading, empowerment, and helping people get work. So, next one. I see the man from St. Vincent. Mm-hmm. And our next one who say Rowley is the best Prime Minister, and with integrity, vote for him. He was campaigning for Keith Rowley. They're talking about
that's the Dominican,
the aviation.
The Dominican Prime Minister.
Scarrett. So, afraid to say that next year I say something bad.
Scarrett, yes. But go ahead. Yeah.
Dumb as something, you understand? So let's not put your station in distribute. You say it for me, you pronounce it, right? Talking about that aviation fee they want now. I want to ask them same set of fellas, right? When Rowley was in power and he had the Caribbean Summit, is it was for the Dragon Gas deal to go to America to lobby as one single Caribbean? Where all that work on? I thought all there was one single Caribbean already and free movement of people. And all there was moving freely through the Caribbean under Rowley. Dragon deal fall through. It fall through. All they want to negotiate that for money. Right? And the CLICO money all fighting for the Caribbean, the 90 million US. Where in there, check in there. In there's other boy, see it down somewhere down in Antigua, and ask Limo, whether I'm Amo, where's some of the money, all them brief on them. If he pay all that, why they give all of the money and all that brief? It was constitutional right to have it. This fourth agenda. Why I have to buff it tonight for? I would like you.
All right, my friend. Well,
Avery
we have another call coming in, so you have to wind up. But appreciate.
I want to finish this. This is things I want to say. And 2 minutes again.
Go ahead.
I want to tell Avery Brown, when you're talking, that is not the PNM, and it's not me, and it's not
caller,
you.
just hold on. We just have a caller on the handset.
The independent senator, it came from a born-again PNM Balize Jews, preach the gospel, say the gospel, in every crook and cranny is a PNM, out of the PNM bowels, belly, and both canal. She who appoint them. And I will say, once again, I stand as a citizen of this country. The PNM was sorted out and see for the dirty underwear that they're trying to use the independence of the independent bench to have the way to hijack the parliament. No way, no way. Good night, Uncle Lance. The next
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's on a pig donkey they would not see. A pleasant good night. Welcome, my friend. Long time no hear from.
Pleasant good night, Lennox.
Yes, man.
Pleasant good night to everyone on the live. But this time, I'm watching here now. I've come back from a serious mission on Norwich back. So, you know, well, I'll go beyond. But again, the mission was successful. So, but I will give you some info in the early in time to come. I will give you some info on that.
No problem, man. No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Yes.
So, here what? Let me just indulge in some of the narrative that I guess that we could say happening here now with this government and this and what's happening.
Yeah.
Now let me talk about the give me a few minutes to talk about the security.
Yeah.
Whereas they were saying that somewhere down the line they're going to be joining. Hopefully, I mean I'm just assuming that they will be joining with the defense force and the police because maybe of manpower to flood the country, as we were mentioning a couple of months ago.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that might be one of the deterrents that they will have.
Yes.
Now, this is what I know is going to happen. The narrative of the PNM now is that they will be saying at any turn of the dime, as they would say, or the page, their narrative is to slow down the progress of the government in order to achieve what they want to. So they will do anything. I know, you know, and I know for a fact, whatever comes out of this, they're going to say, well, it's not working. It's our black brothers and sisters, they're attacking. They're jailing us. They're shooting us. Everything they're going to come with because they need to slow down the progress, and they will try to get people to follow the narrative of what it is they're saying is the truth. And I mean, for 10 years they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
10 years they haven't done anything.
In fact, whatever they did was either in reverse on steroids, because clearly successive record-breaking murders, 3 consecutive years. I mean, come on. So they have no moral or ethical or any kind of wrong. But go ahead. I will
but
make my comment after.
I think when in what it is when Parliament is going on, that they should be reminded of the 10 years of destruction at all costs.
Yes.
Don't let up on the brakes. Don't let them ease up and say, you know, we ain't gonna mention that. Keep reminding them where they put the country in.
Yes.
Because what is going to happen is they're going to use that back when the UNC government decide to say, well, move forward and put things in place and, you know, certain little things. Let's for example, look what Umberto is saying now, that concerning the IDs, that is a mandatory all over the world. Anywhere you go, because what they need to know who you are, and in case something happen, they will be able to identify you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
no,
what?
I think that kind of frivolous, simplistic, dunderheaded, superfluous, superficial argument fools no one. And what they are good at is theatrics. You know, they will do the body language and so on. But really and truly, I heard Imber the other day, and he totally out of it. The intellect that he said that he was supposed to have, and calling other people stupid. Just before he sat down when he made his presentation in the media review, the man ended up saying, "I beg to move," you know, as if he was
Yeah.
the minister.
Yeah.
Understand?
Well, is he confused? He confused.
Yeah, just
He
showing
think he was
you.
still,
Yeah,
he
because
think
you
he
see,
was
they
still a
have been.
minister. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always knew that is only because of the protection of the law that the office attracts, that they believe that they're bright. Take away that from them, and you see you see them bare in, of course, in blissful stupidity. Go ahead, my friend. Yes.
Yes, so I think that is one of the key factors that's going to be taking place. So we have to ignore them. When I say we, the people who will be hearing all these different noises and narrative coming from them, it doesn't make sense. They have to be, or at least we have to stay away from that type of thing, and look for the forward movement of the country and its people, because I know to a fact it could be fixed. It could be fixed. It's just a matter of time, and they only want to know when things happening. They only want to know when things happening. They're frightened. Just tell them, well, the blue lights and silver bracelets is coming if they want to know what's
And boy,
happening.
you will agitate them to such a degree that they talk more and more nonsense. Is the greatest
But
amount of
especially,
nonsense in one
I
short
telling you, I
period,
can.
coming from a small group of persons that would have, of course, at some time entered the four walls of a university.
But
It is
yeah,
mind-boggling. Go ahead.
yes, but the last thing I want to mention is concerning Marcel. I mean, look. He's I don't know what is getting into him. He probably wants to be the prime minister. He asks in that paragraph, he wants to be the prime minister because he want to be like Rowley. You understand? He wants someone to just be backing on top. So everybody now gonna be fearing fearing him for whatever reason. I
Eh?
have no idea.
Wow,
I have
wow.
no. So probably his narrative to try
You
to climb.
understand?
He wants to climb the ladder very fast.
Yeah, so you.
But if remember,
Eh.
they're playing snake and ladder. So when they reach up and they get biked, it's right back down. You
So
understand? So
is that stupid? You have him down.
well, I telling you.
All right, I hear you. I hear you.
All
That
right,
level of
Lennox. But
that level
I'm
of
back.
stupidity has no boundary, you know.
I telling you. I telling
Yeah,
you.
has no boundary.
Yeah. It have none. It have none. But it is nice to see you, and we will talk in time to come.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
back in. I'm back in.
It's outstanding since
Yeah.
since the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I am a
Be,
passionate person as well.
be
So
patient, my friend. Good
yes,
things
yes.
come to those who wait, but not
That's
who wait
right.
too
I
late.
believe in that as well. I believe in that. Yeah, I believe in that.
All right. Well,
Yes.
tell them, is Miss Santa Cruz still around? Tell her, say good night. And,
Yeah, don't be surprised if after you ask for her that she calls in, because she normally will monitor. She's a quality standard individual apart from our external correspondence. So she comes in from time to time, and we have a very healthy but
Okay.
informative
Health-
conversation.
if-
Yeah.
All right. Well, if she's listening, pleasant good night, my dear. Pleasant
Yes.
good night. All right, Lennox. So I'll keep you abreast of what's
Yes,
happening.
man. Yes, man. Of
All
course,
right, no
people,
problem.
don't forget that on Sunday from 10 o'clock, the Lavatil East movement, Lavatil West, Port Spain South, Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. Of course, the candidate there was, of course, Philip Alexander. of course, and the various members of the coalition, the PEP, the political arms, that is, the PEP, that of COP, and that of Love, will be at the grandstand of the Queen's Park Savannah on Sunday to have our collective conversation in the context of a pre-budget exercise. Why? Well, the Prime Minister did, in fact, at the last Monday night forum, and incidentally, of course, there's another one on Monday coming in Cuba, did mandated everyone to, every constituency to have pre-budget consultations, and that of the Laventille East, Laventille West, Port of Spain South, Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West will be having theirs on Sunday at the grandstand, Queen's Park Savannah. Parking and all the other issues to make it, of course, a very comfortable and rewarding experience will be available and in train. I want to tell you though, and it may be a bit too early so to do, but just to say, look out for what we will begin and implement, talking about Love, pre-budget consultation caravan. That's what we'll be calling it, because it will be mobile. So we go to a particular community, a particular corner, and we, of course, solicit the ideas of the individuals. Typically, you see, because I really admire Kamala Prasad Bissessa, because if you're a student of, let's say, ancient history and philosophy, you would know, of course, of the Greeks and the Romans and how they practice democracy. Everybody comes together and you make a decision. Even though, of course, you'll have representatives like the parliamentary representative system that we have in Trinidad. But certainly, the best way of addressing the whole concept and the whole idea and the whole practicalization of democracy really is for all to participate and make their inputs. So, of course, recognizing that, and know that, of course, the exercise, for example, on Monday will attract a certain number of persons from different parts of the respective constituencies and even beyond. But there is a need, we believe, to granulize it, to get into the nucleus, and to, of course, break it up into smaller pieces, talking about the discussion, so that we really get a greater representation of the inputs from the various parts of the various constituencies, which we, of course, want to influence, and for which Love was created, Laventille Outreach for Vertical Enrichment. And that is, of course, I have no qualms with anybody else laying similar claims, but we have a duty, of course, to do so because of the way that the entire thing was framed and was conceptualized and was practicalized. And that is, and I've always said, Love is a regional party committed to the Laventilles, Laventille East, Laventille West, and indeed, of course, Port of Spain South. So I don't believe that we are breaking any relationship or infringing any principle, because, of course, all the other parties are free to engage, including, of course, the UNC. So that being as it may, but we are a fervent and a committed and a dedicated and loyal partner, of course, as part of the coalition of interests. And in fact, the exercise on Sunday will demonstrate that, because, as I said, PEP, COP, and Love will be, of course, co-sponsoring, if you want to call that, co-engaging the respective electoral constituencies and the electorate to get their views, and of course residents. So it is beyond politics. It is about, of course, giving ideas or bringing ideas or contributing to what should be in the budget. As we go along and as we enter and reach, of course, Sunday, I will, of course, be outlining some of the areas that we believe as a party and therefore entitled, of course, to our say as well, just as the UNC, just as PEP, just as COP, just as organizations across the country, both religious and non-religious, have interests that they would like, of course, to pursue and be seen in the budget. We too have a perspective as well, which of course we will be announcing in due course. So I thought it was important to at this juncture to really explain that if you just joined us. Of course, it is nearing 9:30. We will cut off at 9:30. It is now what? Yes, 9:26. So we just have about 4 more minutes to, of course, engage. But let me say that it feels wonderful to know that people are really, really and truly enthused and that they would want to make their contributions. And of course, the first opportunity, as I said, is on Sunday at the Grandstand, Queen's Park, Savannah, where pre-budgetary conversations or consultations will take place. In the picture there, of course, you see myself and, of course, my deputy political leader, Dada Gabriel, wooing on, and, of course, and you can call me directly at the number that you are seeing on the screen, 337-6940, for any additional information as far as arrangement for transportation. One of the things that we're doing because of our strategic location, before I came on, of course, those in Mover and so on had asked whether or not they can hire a maxi to take them straight to the Savannah and back. That is something I think is practical and should be considered, but there are others who are in and around Port of Spain where we will have a shuttle service from the headquarters here on George Street, 55 George Street, and it will take people up and bring them back if necessary, but certainly to get them up because we are very close to the Queen's Park Savannah, and therefore we believe that that should be part and parcel of the service that we'll offer to get as much people participating by going, of course, to that exercise. Of course, where they are located farther afield, like, of course, Mova, Malik, parts of Chumakak, etc., Passy Street, Paradise Heights, where our candidate is from. I'm talking about here, Robert Mitchell. We will make some kind of arrangement to get those persons who are interested to get to the Queen's Park Savannah on time. And of course, to participate. Let's go to the lines. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hey, Lennox.
Yeah.
You're going to the big yard Sunday, boy.
Yes. The big yard Sunday, boy. And let me tell you this. The way how this thing is looking, we're going to have a very good crowd because remember, right here, when I last spoke on the subject, we had some 400 registrations. Well,
Right.
it is over 1,000 now. And
They never had no racetrack that had much crowd.
there are over 1,000 persons. But of course, we have to find a way to sort of extrapolate and so we have already identified who we would call in order to invite them, etc. Because we can't call all 1,000. It is not logistically possible, and it's not financially what I consider to be possible as well, having regard to the limited funds that we have. If it was for me alone, I call everybody, but of course we don't have it. Of course, I want to thank Cyrus Computers for the assistance with the computer, the not a laptop, but a desktop. So it is a tower, and therefore, of course, very powerful that we have to load up and to and to upload all the data that we have all over the place on paper. We write here, we write there, and so on. Reams of paper. We are now putting it into the database that we have created with the device that was given to us, or upgraded for us, I should say, more specific. And therefore, of course, we are entering the technology that is required so that we can deal with mass very easily with, of course, computer power, so to speak. Before, we had to go tradition and archaic, if you want to call it that, by writing and paper flying all over the place, and we losing this one, and we can't easily retrieve information, all of that. Well, that is a thing of the past, as we got that new system from Cyrus, and I want to thank them. And the other commitments that be made, whether financial, whether by providing, of course, employment opportunities, businessmen, etc., who have been visiting us on a regular basis. I want to say this thing is turned out to be a massive project, pilot project that nowhere else in the country have dared to, of course, address. And providing all of that service free of charge. As you know, my friend, we just, of course, launched our free Wi-Fi. And boy, today, we had some kids inside of the building accessing Wi-Fi. And that is exactly what we anticipated will happen. The young men and them on the outside, and on the pavement, they will go there. We want to put some chairs and desks and table and so on, so they could be comfortable on the pavement, and that they could come, of course, and probably do their homework, engage, of course, in what I consider to be intellectual and stimulating conversation that young people engage in, positive ones. We're going to discourage, of course, persons who using it for negative purposes. For example, if we see pornography and so on is the name of the game, then of course we'll find a way to see if we could discourage that. All right. So I just say, as you're on the line, I just say, let me boast a little bit, and as we have just about a couple more minutes.
Well, you have a right to boast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, boy. I'm feeling real good, you know. I never thought this was possible.
Yeah, and you're going in the right place.
Yes.
Savannah was one of the big yard boxing there.
Yes, boy.
When you're going in the boxing there, the atmosphere, everything there.
Yeah, I agree.
Look up, everything running.
Yeah, and mind you, the Red House is a stone's throw away. I could pelt on a clear day. Not only can I see the Red House, I can see it from the back of the building easily, but I could pelt a stone and it might reach as far as the Red House. Yeah, that's how close we are. So to the seat of power, and we on this side of Port of Spain so poor. No, we have to generate the transformation that only human beings can, and people with vision must be able to engage. So we have a lot of work to do, yes, but I think we are up to the challenges. Go ahead.
And you're young and you're strong.
And I'm feeling young, and I'm strong. But of course, that's why I had to cut off at 9:30.
All right, well,
all right, my friend. Thanks very much, yes. Yes, people, of course, we have come to the end of tonight's program. Thank you very much, of course, for joining us. We didn't complete, of course, that segment with respect to Tobago. I thought Mr. Silver Fox would have at least called to give his version of it. But let me just say that, of course, they weren't able to utilize the race card in Tobago because just as Labre and just as Point Fortin, they found out who Rowley and they were using, of course, these emotional and maybe racial overtones and undertones to only get into office to do us harm. They recognize that. So well done, Point Fortin. I cannot overemphasize that, and well done, Labre, for seeing Rowley for who he is and was with that banana caper that he tried in 2020. And of course, the people of Tobago, well, the Calcutta ship deception has not worked. They tried again in the last THA and got 14-1. Let them continue in the next one, and they will get 15-0. As they did in the general election, 2-0, because there's only 2 seats was up for grabs in Tobago. 2-0. So, Tamfa Kojo, you ought to have listened, you and the other candidate. We told you that when Watsujuk and them won the elections, to disassociate yourself with the PNM. We told you that. You only too damn hardened. We told both of you to disassociate yourself with the PNM. Ask for forgiveness in Tobago so that you can, of course, have your careers and your dignity not just preserved, but it will be in a state of longevity. You disagreed and you disobeyed. Now you have to pay the price. What you're frowning up your face for, Kojo? Following, of course, a toxic individual called Christopher Rowley. What are you doing for you now? Nothing. You're going to the people meeting. Do like what's her name? I can't remember her name. What I remember her for very distinctly is that she was wearing her oversized shoes that she came to one of our Baptist function, and she was only getting difficulty of wearing it. Either the heels was too high, the shoes was too big, and of course it was flaring at the side. Don't tell me how I know all them details. Well, I could only give them details because that is what I observed. And of course she was fighting to have a normal, what I consider to be bipedal gait scenario. You know, bipedal gait, human beings have a bipedal gait, meaning that they walk on 2 legs. Bipedal gait, walk on 2 legs. Well, of course, she was having difficulty in walking and of course exercising bipedal gait because of those shoes. Yes, Miss, I forget her name, but it's better you forget rather than, of course, have to remember the missteps and the lack of rationality. All they should have abandoned Rowley immediately after the last THA elections. So don't cry now. Don't cry now, whether it's crocodile tears or what. It has no use to you, for you. Fali and they has taken over, and that's it. Penny and them could come in Tobago and talk all the hogwash that they want. That, of course, it was what time when there was only 1 seat, and where they are now, where they achieved under Rowley. You achieved nothing under Rowley. All of that was fake, as was the case in Trinidad. All of that was fake. It was the implementation of and the unleashing of a political, what I consider to be pattern, a political strategy, a political model that was doomed to collapse, fail, destroyed, and of course render the PNM extinct. That's not waste time. How the hell you could, of course, start on lies, live on lies, exist on lies, and then of course don't know that the people will end your lying days? Well, that is what has happened to the PNM and Rowley. He was, of course, you have to give him credit. He was smart enough to create that whirlpool of political disaster, tsunami, and then leave all your wallow, and like a skeleton, like a carcass, Penelope Beckles take it up and believe that somehow they could resurrect. No, this is not the story of Lazarus. This is not the story of Lazarus, Penelope Beckles. The PNM is dead, it will remain dead, and the population will be knowledgeable, will be informed, and will take heed not to continue with that kind of barbarism that is the PNM. A criminal enterprise. You just have to watch at Balize House and understand that. Go and break down Balize House if you want people's psyche to, of course, deflect away. Other than that, the conditionality, the brainwashing, will be that structure of steel, mortar, and now, of course, red paint, constructed with what? Blood money. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Of course, we will end as we started. Yesterday it is just after 9:30, of course, 9. Don't forget, of course, in the morning, Andy will be back. I expect I could sleep a little longer or probably do some additional research. This morning I was limited because Andy waked me up very early. No, he contacted me very early, but of course I was already awakened in doing my research for the day's chores. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. And once again, tomorrow morning, the Ground Report, Andy, Mike, and myself, as we continue with these and other topics.
He came from Calcutta, a stick and a bag on his shoulder, Itoban and the Capra. So I am Patsy of India. India, the Indian can ship on the slavery, bind together two races in unity. There was no more Mother Africa, no more Mother India, just Mother Trini. My Mahuta planted sugar cane down in the Caroni Plain. Ramlog and Baste Prakashanai. Jahaji Pai. Brotherhood on the boat. Jahaji Pai. Brotherhood on the boat. Jahaji So it is a great privilege to have such unique heritage. 50% Africa, 50% India. India, I have done duty to holiday, emancipation and arrival day. Since